All right, what's up and good morning, everybody. This is Al, and it's a little bit after 9 o'clock this morning, and I'm about to head out around to the poker house, and the direction that I'm going right now is showing blue skies. But we do have a rainy morning. Not sure if the rain is going to come back and pick up again, but that is what's supposed to take place this week down here in Corpus Christi, Texas. So the place I'm going to, H1 Social Club, nice poker event, nice poker house. They have other ones as well, but this one right here, I like it because if you played in San Antonio, Round Rock, places like that, then you will know that pretty much the table settings are 9. They have monitors on the table that keep your time and things like that. So, and that is what this place has as well. So it is a nice poker room to play in. Everything that you can imagine is there. They got food. They after 5 o'clock, except on Mondays. No, they don't open the restaurant. But after Mondays, up till Monday, that's the only time it's closed, Mondays. But after that, it's open every day at 5 o'clock. And they got a nice menu of everything, something for everybody. They don't have steak. And I know up in San Antonio, Rounders, the card house that Lodge had bought, they do. So they have steak on their menu. They have shrimp as well, I believe. I don't know if they got shrimp here, but I always, when I do order from them, I usually get the shrimp fried rice along with some wings or something like that. I like to mix it up. So I'll have that sometime when I'm playing. And it's very good. It's basil fried rice, so it's really good. And it comes in all types of heat levels. So if you want it spicy and things like that, they got it where it's so spicy that they'll sit there and look at you to see if you can eat it. That's how much spice they put on it. But anyway, while I'm out here making my way up here on this beautiful poker day, since it's raining, it's going to bring out a lot of poker players. I already text somebody, they say they coming, so that's going to be good for the game. They're coming. I try to reach out to the other person. He hasn't responded yet, so wait for him to respond. But I let him know we're going to be there if he decides he wants to play this morning, and we can get the game going. Like I said, if we get there before 10 o'clock, right, no matter. As long as we're there before 10 o'clock, and if that game gets going, whenever it does, as long as it's not 2 o'clock, we get to play for free. Right? So that's if it's 10 o'clock we get started, that's 11, 12, 1, 2. That's 4 hours of free poker. That's enough time that you should be able to do something. Now, when that does happen, of course, me with a conscience, I'll probably stay another extra 2 hours, right? Just to pay some homage to the house for giving us that benefit. And at the same time, and if I leave, man, I give them $20. I say, here you go, here's 20. For the time that I played up to 2 o'clock, I'm out, but I'm gonna give you 20 anyway. And I'll just do that if I got a good win. If I ain't got no good win, then I'm there past that 2 o'clock session trying to get my money up, and I got time on the books, and I'm just playing through my time. That's what I'm gonna do. But anyway, there is a conversation that is happening more and more at the poker table. And it mainly involves the cash game. And that is certain hands that we find not to be so intimidating as they once upon a time used to be. And I think that was mainly because when we played back in the old days, we didn't know any better. We played by what we thought were the best hands to start off with, and you went for it, right? So let's say, for instance, now we're talking about Ace King. Ace King, suited, unsuited. Back in the days, that hand did not matter to me if it was suited or unsuited. I just went for it, right? If I got an Ace King and there's nothing on the board yet, and I got the possibility of hitting an ace, a king, or something, oh man, they got some wires that went down. Somebody must have either ran into a pole or something, but the wires are down. So anyway, if I get the Ace King, like I said, we got a storm going on too, so the wind could have brought that down. Electricity didn't go off. It didn't go. We still got electricity. I still had full electricity this morning at the house. And I was washing clothes and everything. Nothing happened. So anyway, the Ace King, though, that used to be a powerful hand when you, especially with walking into the game of No Limit. We're talking cash. And I guess if you didn't pay attention, you'll notice that a lot of times you probably didn't hit with your ace king. It wasn't always guaranteed to be a winner. But I think because you were still just learning the game, it didn't affect you, right? It just meant, hey, it wasn't meant for me to hit it. I missed everything. But now that we are much older and deeper into the game, the way we feel about it, we're starting to conversate. Now it's almost like I hate ace king. We got players actually saying, I hate ace king. Nothing good comes from it except hope. Almost like the ace jack. Ace jack, we take it, and for the most part, if you're not in the blind and people don't let you limp in with it, you pretty much throw it away. If it's suited, you might take a stab at it depending on how much the bet was, right? If it's $5 or $10 in a cash game, you may call with that ace jack. A lot of players, they still call with ace jack, even if it's $50 and $75, they'll call with the ace jack. And it just, whoever the player is that feels comfortable with it. Me, myself, I learned in the early 2000s that ace jack meant jackass. That's what we called it. We called it the jackass hand. And then we make the mule sound and go, hee-haw, when somebody miss, right? And we see them turn over, they miss, be like, hee-haw, all that to the player. And we had fun with it. But we got away from the ace jack, depending on what the situation was. But that ace king now is becoming a discussion of topic when we're sitting at the table in a cash game. And it's starting to look like people don't really want to play it. You know, you almost still have it in your psyche that you're supposed to. And I try not to tell nobody when I got it, because if you tell somebody you got an ace king and you folded it, they're gonna be like, what? You folded the ace king? And you're gonna be like, yeah, I folded it. Don't try to explain to them the theory of why you did it, right? Because they're not gonna understand it. Because like I said, the majority of these players, they're gamblers. So the way they see it is, ace king is a profitable hand. It is, if it hits, but depending on the situation, what do we do with it? So in my opinion, I like ace king if I'm anywhere between the blind and the button, right? If I know I'm gonna be first to act, and let's just say somebody makes it 5, and we got a 9-seated table, right? If 4 or 5 people call that $5, I got ace king in my hand. Now, I know 9 times out of 10, when it gets to me, I'm either gonna raise, right? I'm gonna two up on the raise. I'm gonna, if it's, let's say 6 people call, 6 times 5 is 30. So if I got ace king and everybody just called 5, nobody raised a 5, then I'm gonna probably say, hey, 75, right? That to me is a good number. I'm gonna take that 30 that I put pressure on everybody to call $75 and call what, $60 more, right? They probably came in with, let's say somebody came in with connectors, maybe a low pair or something like that, and they may feel they know you as a player that if you're doing this 9 times out of 10, you got a monster, right? So they'll probably fold and go away. Do I show it? It's up to you, right? If you think you can scare players off by doing that, let's say you got a weak table and you think you want to scare players and say, this is what I got y'all with, then go ahead and show it. But a lot of times, I won't show it. Now, if somebody asks me, I'll just sit there and say, you have to pay to see it, right? Because that is basically what you have to do. You have to pay to see it. So ace king is one of those deals where playing it now does not mean it's a strong hand as it used to be to the way you felt about it back in the days. Because I remember my early stages, somebody could say all in, and I'm not even thinking they got aces. I'm not even thinking they got kings already. I just say I got an ace king. And I call. So back in that time when I first started, I was a $100 buy-in person. I would just buy in for $100. And now I'm buying for anything 3 and more, depending on where I'm at. If some tables I sit at, I'll pull 1,000 out and start with 1,000 just to give myself some leverage with the table. But for the most part, when I'm playing against players, I just buy in for 300 because, you know, that's max that we can buy in for at the poker morning sessions. Everybody starts off with anything up to 300. You can't go over 300, and that's just it, the way the rule is. So I buy in for 300 per session when I start out in the morning. But if I get there later and I see somebody got some chips in front of them, then I will pull out and put a little more into it. It's just so I can stay up with the table. But that ace king, yeah, it's one of those strange hands now that seems to be conversation. And I tell you what happens. A lot of times we play with the ace king, and what happens? The flop comes out, queen jack, 10 queen, something, whatever, to make you feel that you got a possibility of a straight. If you call with an ace king, for the most part, I like to call with it suited, right? So I'd rather take the chance with it and just say, well, at least I know I got a possible chance of getting a flush, right? Can I get a boat out of it? You're damn right I can. Can I get it straight? Of course. But still, a lot of times that ace king, your outs are already gone. If you got 9 people sitting at the table, you got to remember there's 4 of each card denomination. So you're going to have 4 aces, 4 kings, 4 queens, 4 jacks, 4 tens, 4 nines, and so on. So when you got 9 people, and if out of those 9, 6 people make that call, like I say, what do you think? Somebody probably had your ace 10. Somebody probably came in with an ace deuce. Somebody probably came in with a king queen. Somebody may have came in with a king 9. Some people play those type of hands. So you got to remember with your ace king, the reason why that it doesn't make it a lot of times is because when you got 9 people sitting at the table playing and you get that hand and you watch all those bets go out, a lot of times your outs are taken. And that ace king can only represent strength if you're in the, like I say, anywhere between the button and the blinds. And if everybody just bet 5 and you see $30 out there and you want to represent, if nobody raised, right, and you say 75, that is what you pretty much might do, right? Or you may just call the 5, depending on who the players are. A lot of that's got to do with the reason why you won't make a move with it either, because it all depends on who you got at the table. If you got players that like to set people up, like I got a guy who is, he goes, man, this dude is so old, he was born back before a little bit, probably World War II. I give him that. I don't think he's old enough that he was born in World War I, but I know for sure he probably went back to like World War II. And he got some poker stories. He played with some of the best players that we recognize. He knows Doyle Brunson, rest in peace. He knew Doyle Brunson. He played with him. He played with other players back in the days. I don't think he ever played with Phil Ivey. I sat in the room with Phil Ivey when I did he didn't know it, but I knew it because I seen him. That's when we played the Millionaire Maker back in 2013. And I was like, damn, Phil Ivey taller than what I thought he was, right? So I got a chance to see a lot of those poker phenomenons that turned me on to WSOP, watching them on ESPN. I flew down there, me and the wife, in 2013, and I bought in for that $1,500 Millionaire Maker that they had advertised in 2013, and I was in that. But yeah, this guy, he goes back to those days, and he's been in places where the guns were on the table. That is how his poker days of memory are. And there's a couple of other OGs I played with in there. They'll tell you some stories where they said guns were on the table while they're playing poker. So when you see stuff in the movie, some of that stuff is real, even though it's animated for the most part, but it does happen. And mainly, I thought that it was probably they wanted to be safe in case somebody tried to rob them. They're not trying to reach for their gun in their pocket. They want to make sure if they're sitting on the table, they're going to reach for that gun, and then they're going to make sure they don't get robbed, because a lot of that stuff took place back in them days. But anyway, he has this ability to make people do what they do, and then when they get back around to him, he will shove, right? And he loves trapping. So what happens is, let's say he could picture, and he's really good, man. This guy, talked to him, and you pick his brain and stuff like that, and it's like something, it's like reading a live book of the stuff he tells you. And he's old, but he knows them poker strategies and hands and numbers, and he can call a percentage out. He still got a good mind, man. So shout out to him. But one of his best moves that I love watching him do, and I'll fold, because whenever I see him call, I know it's a trap, because he is a player that will not make a move unless he know for sure he's got an opportunity to make money. He's not interested in winning a lot of hands. He just wants the right hand to make a lot of chips. And that is basically what we should be doing in poker. That is why it's so boring to us at times when you're playing, because if you're playing it the right way, you're going to be bored, right? But if you're a gambler, the boredom goes out the window because you're going off the rush of seeing if you can win. But what he does is he will, whatever the bet is, he will just smooth call it. And if he knows, like he's on the button or if he's in the blind and he does that, if it starts off at 2, then he'll let everybody bet. And I'm trying to think what happens. I know he's got it to the point where, I know what it is. It's the person that's in the blind or who's ever last to act, which would be the blind. Everybody calls 2, right? Including him. What happens is when it gets around to that last person raises, right? Everybody called 2 and it got around to that last person, right? They could have been 5. It don't matter. When it got around to that last, if it's 5, that's even better for him because now he's got all these people that call that $5. And when it gets around to the last person to act, the last person goes over the top and he says 15, right? 15, that's what he bets. Well, when it gets around to my man, he shoves and he goes all in. What he did was he took down that board, took down that pot because he's got either aces or he's got kings. He can have queens or whatever. If he's got a pocket pair that's in the range of anything like queen, kings, or queen, kings, or aces, he's going to shove. And when he does that, a lot of time people fold to him because they know that he has a hand. And even though they may have came in for whatever that previous bet was, and then that last person raised, he will kill it. And then he'll say all in. And he's not bluffing. He's not bluffing. He has a hand. I've seen him do it with 7s too one time. He did it with 7s. He actually turned that over and he started laughing because people got so used to folding whenever he does it that I guess he wanted to let them know that I guess he was trying to sell it, that it worked this time, but this is what I got y'all with. And he's just like I said, man, he's an OG and he just has fun with it. And when he pulled it off, he started laughing, turned over 7s, and everybody like, oh my God, we thought you had aces and kings. He's like, yeah, I know. And he started laughing. But that is what he does. That's his tactic. But that ace king, yeah, that is one now that conversation is happening with players, especially when you're playing in the same setting every day, or enough times that everybody knows you when you walk in the building. And that is what happens when we playing up here. Everybody knows one another, so you all know each other's game, right? People can tell me in a heartbeat, and they say, I can't never really figure you out or where you really at, because you do play tight, right? I'm a tight player, if that's what their definition is. I am a tight player, I know this, but I'm not a tight player where you're gonna bully me off the hand. If I got a good hand, I'm gonna live and die with that hand. If I got a good one, I'm going for it. So they're not gonna ever be able to say that I run from the fight once, we get it going. No, if I got the hand I'm looking for, if I'm first to act, I'm gonna put pressure on you. If you're first to act, you're supposed to try to put pressure on me, but I'm gonna see it the way that I think it should be. Like I said, once you get a pair, that's all it is. If you don't hit a set, you don't hit quads, you don't get a straight from it, you ain't got opportunity of a flush, and it's just a pair, right? And everything on the board doesn't give you any hope except that pair you're looking at. If somebody bet a certain way, then I'll probably think about it. And like I say, live to see another day on the poker table. And I'll fold if I have to. And that is what I will do. So it's not that you are a tight person, a tight player, and you're afraid of the action. It's just you want to make sure that when you give when you analyze that situation, you just want to make sure that whatever you came up with in your mind was the right decision and right move to make. So again, that is what I like to do. But yeah, that ace king, man, it is something that is baffling now, especially when you've been playing this for a long time. You look at hands and ace king almost comes up in everybody's conversation, and they say, man, sometimes I hate when I see that hand. I hate when I get ace king, right? Especially when they're not, you know, in the blind, or they're not on the button or small blind or something like that. They hate when they get it, and it's just a hand they got, and you know, it is what it is. It can get you in trouble. So again, with that said, we just arrived. We are here, and hopefully it's going to be a great session because, like I said, it was raining this last night and this morning, and usually whenever it rains, that's perfect to go play poker. So anyway, if you guys are out there doing what you're doing, I hope you're enjoying it. Keep on pushing, keep on living, and always remember, man, we only got one life to live, and don't get caught up in a lot of this ruckus that is around you or whatever. It's been here before we got here, and it's always going to be here because people do what they do. But again, you don't have to be a part of it. So with that said, enjoy it, man. With that, I'm out. Y'all be cool. Peace.